Hey everybody, this is the Esoteric Cross. In this video, I'm coming to you with a tarot reading, and this is what you need to hear right now. This is really based on the big changes that are coming into your life. So to pick your pile, I want you to imagine that there's this bright white light at the top of the universe. Breathe in, and as you breathe in, imagine that you are pulling the light down through your body with your breath. As you do this, imagine that you are opening this golden sphere of energy at the center of your chest with this light, filling up this golden sphere of energy with divine light. Focus on that energy for just a moment, and when you're ready, open your eyes and take a look at the cards that we have in front of you. And the one that you feel the most drawn to is going to be the pile that's for you. I have the timestamps listed in the description below that will take you to your reading. Hey everybody who chose pile number 1, welcome to your reading. You chose this card called Discrimination. This is going to be centered around the big changes that are coming into your life, and of course with the word discrimination it sounds a little negative, but actually discrimination can be a very powerful thing when it comes to analyzing our lives. Discriminating is kind of picking apart the things that we need to pick apart if we can look at the word in a very positive lens. So, I'm going to pull the book on this card because each card within this specific deck is centered around a sign and also a planet within that sign. So, what we have here is Venus with Virgo energy. So, this may mean that you have Venus in Virgo. It doesn't necessarily mean that. These cards are meant to give you advice on the energies that are being present within your life and that are coming up in your life. So definitely don't get hung up on the planet being within that sign if that's not something that is accurate for you or important to you. Just take the message that comes with this card. So with discrimination, this can definitely mean that discrimination is something that you are needing to come into your life. So let me pull the book and we're going to go ahead and jump into this together. So it says, personal for Venus Virgo types romantically, it's important that partners share their intellectual interests. People with this planet sign combination may be in danger of analyzing their emotions to excess, though, when positively directed, this ability can be helpful to others in the form of relationship counseling. Their close friends are few, but selectively chosen. The Venus Virgo personality type shows great discrimination in choosing on whom and what to bestow their affections. When this is taken to extremes in a negative way, it can make them downright picky about potential friends and lovers. In many areas of life, however, this fastidious attitude stands this personality type in good stead. With a little more Venus extravagance added to the careful Virgo temperament, this person will make an excellent cook. Something to do with nourishment, pleasure, and Virgo perfectionism combines to make a great but ever modest chef or host. Virgos always show love in practical ways. Many of their social activities or romantic interests revolve around work or health. They may also be involved with artistic or alternative pursuits. It's important that the work surroundings of the Venus Virgoan are harmonious and beautiful, or life can get twitchy. They display good taste in clothes, and this aspect features in the birth charts of many fashion designers. When this card is picked, it shows the need to be ultra selective, using all powers of discretion to attain aims. So some events that are associated with this card are a close friendship that may develop further, a total makeover, and also a love affair with someone at work. That's interesting. That could be very for a very select few of you, with there being a love affair with somebody at work. But the thing is, well, to give you guys some background on me specifically, I have Virgo in Venus, or Venus in Virgo, and I resonate a lot with what this is saying. Basically, uh, having to do with, like, it says something about being a good cook. There's something to do with nourishment, pleasure, and Virgo perfectionism combines to make a great but ever modest chef or host, is what it says. And being very practical. So this is going to have to do with getting practical. I think specifically around your health and what gives you pleasure. Venus is the sign that uh, Venus is the planet. Sorry, that rules over things like pleasure, also passion, creativity, art, beauty, love. All of these things, music. They are associated with Venus. So having Venus within the sign of Virgo definitely is showing somebody who is very analytical about these processes. It's very practical. And we are still obsessed with beauty because Virgo is also generally obsessed with beauty. Virgo, the Virgin, it has this youthful type of energy to it, but at the same time, it has this very mature energy to Virgo. It's very balanced, analytical, and practical. And when we bring that into Venus, I feel like there is this beautiful, harmonious thing that can occur. But of course, like this is saying, there can be this overlean into being too critical or uh, picky. It used the word picky. And I can definitely relate to that when it comes to things like relationships. So, pile one, it could definitely, what's coming into your life could be, for example, going on a bunch of dates, looking for the partner. If you're already married or you already have a partner, maybe this is going to be centered on exploring your creativity more. It could be like something, getting into something like fashion, doing a makeover, becoming more aware of the way that you look and the way that you present yourself. It could be a health overhaul. It could be focusing on the body and getting the body as fit as possible, or getting the body into a place where you feel like you are proud of the work that you've put in, specifically on your body or your looks. And this is important to not go to the extremes and not to be so critical or so hard on yourself, because you've got to remember that these little wins, for example, if it's dating, going on a date and actually having a decent time, even if this thing doesn't really go anywhere, being proud of yourself for actually going out there and doing it, and especially getting back up every time that you do get knocked down, being proud of yourself for uh, eating a certain way for a couple days in a row, even though not everything has changed. The body hasn't changed very much by that, but it's still effort. You need to rack up these little wins and be proud of yourself for them and not go too hard on yourself. These things are really important because when we do go too hard on ourselves, we tend to give up a lot quicker and a lot easier. So that is the first initial message, but I'm going to go ahead and start pulling some tarot cards. So let's see what we've got for you, pile number one. Okay. So the first thing that we have is the Seven of Swords. And this is showing you leaving the things behind that do not serve you, specifically within the mental layer of consciousness. So the swords represent the mind, intellect, generally the thoughts that are going on within the mind, and also communication. But when we see this seven come out, it does represent that we've had a lot of anxieties and ruminations, things that we've been focusing on, and we're starting to leave these things behind. So you're starting to question your thoughts and starting to think, wow, who would I be without this thought? That is something that's going to serve you as you are moving to an area of your life with better mental health specifically. All right, so let's see what the next card that we have for you, pile one. We have the Nine of Cups. So it's kind of like one is leading into the other here, with being able to leave certain things behind, things that don't resonate with you, things that don't serve you anymore. You're moving into an area where you're finally getting the things that you want. So the Nine of Cups represents somebody having their wish fulfilled. That's what's the important message that's coming up here for you. The wish fulfilled is the Nine of Cups. Very big deal energy when it comes to trying to get what it is that you want out of life, emotional fulfillment. Now, I also have the Eight of Swords. So that is another thing that we're going to be focusing on here. And I think that this is a pretty big deal with the Eight of Swords because with the Eight of Swords, remember we are still talking about the mental body, the thoughts that goes on within our mind, our mental state of consciousness. And this can a lot of this suit is very dark, the swords. And with the Eight of Swords, we are talking about somebody who is, on one hand, you could say enduring. There's also like a blinding of the senses. You might see that she is blindfolded within the card and she's surrounded by all of these swords. So that does represent the, the blindfold and being bound is representing actually an initiation within this process. And the swords can be all of the thoughts and the anxieties that have been really just surrounding us. Now, we have water at the bottom of the card, and the intention is being able to move or follow this water, to follow the emotions, water representing the emotions. Follow the emotions, the intuition, letting the unconscious kind of guide us forward, our path forward. So when we get rid of one sense, for example, blindfolding, if we were to get rid of a sense completely, we would be honing in on these other senses within us, making us stronger in these other senses. So there is something that's probably been going on within your life that is, this is an allegory or an analogy, that something is blinding you within your life. And it could mean that you're not focusing on one thing. Maybe you're blind to something. And because of that, you are honing in all of these other things. It means that there's probably something in your life that you've been missing. And because you've been missing this one thing, it's almost as if you've been overcompensating in these other areas, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It does have imbalances, don't get me wrong. But it can also mean that you are getting a lot stronger, that you have certain strengths that you would not have had if you hadn't been missing this specific thing. So I want you to look at your challenges as if they are initiations into a higher state of consciousness. That's the bottom line of what I'm trying to describe with this card. Now, I'm going to go ahead and pull a couple oracle cards. This is a Tree of Life oracle card that I'm about to pull. And these cards are amazing if you are interested in Kabbalah. I highly recommend this deck. It's Tree of Life Oracle by David Wells. Let's see what we've got for you. This is really funny because this sphere is called Netzach, which means victory. Netzach is related to the planet Venus. The very first card that we had was discrimination, Venus in Virgo. Venus being the sign that's related to passion, art, beauty, love, music, creativity. Okay. You've also have the Seven of Swords, which is also related to Netzach. All of the sevens are related to Netzach. This is centered on movement, the application of your feelings. It has some ties to intuition too, but we're really talking about the love and the beauty and the passion and motivation. So if we have card 7, Netzach, victory, and it says on the card, hope, love, and art, but of course, as we know, it's so much more than just that. This is definitely important. The bottom line is going to be victory, and I think it's specifically victory when it is in terms of your love life, when it's in terms of your passion, your creativity. If you feel like you've been lacking within the creativity department, that is something that is coming back and is being revitalized for yourself. And whatever challenges that you are experiencing at the moment, or that are, whether they're coming up, I think that most of the challenges are really, not that there's a lot of challenges ahead of you, but I think that behind you, that there have been challenges and there have been anxieties. So the key message is to be able to remove things that are going on within the mind and what these challenges have meant for us. That's important. But being able to take these challenges and these difficult things that have been going on within our mental space and to alchemize them. So turn them into something that's important to you. Turn them into art. Turn them into. And art is everything. It's a conversation. It's doing a tarot reading. Art is writing a book, writing videos. Art is, of course, making music or creating a painting or drawing. Art is magic. Art is cooking. Art is, like what this was saying, hosting for other people. Art is love. Art is relationships. Art is so many things. So being able to take these mental challenges that you've been carrying around with you, being able to drop the things that don't serve you, and also at the same time start alchemizing them, because this is going to serve you in a very big way. It's like the creative part of you is screaming for your attention and for you to be able to let them out. Okay, so I'm going to pull this one last card that we have for you, pile one, which is the affirmations card. So you have one affirmation. Let's see what we've got. Pile number one. I pull this card all the time. It is called Let It Go. It says, you're being asked to let go of whatever pain and resentment you've been holding on to. It's hurting you, and you can't fully be present in your life if you're holding on to this negativity. Release it and be free. I pull this card all the time, honestly, for other people doing readings, also doing the readings for this channel. But the Let It Go thing, it's definitely representing that Seven of Swords. What baggage have we been carrying around within our consciousness that's extremely heavy? Just to imagine that you are dropping the baggage of these thoughts. It could even be a meditation that you do on a daily basis. Take these thoughts into your mind. What are the thoughts that are really troubling you? Is it about yourself? Is it about other people? What is it that's going on within these thoughts? And just imagine yourself taking them and just dropping them as if it's this heavy baggage that you're letting go of. It might not all happen at once. It might just be something you do on a daily basis. But one day you're going to look back and you're going to say, wow, I feel so opened. I feel so free. I feel so much lighter. And I feel like I can move on into these other areas. It can be just as simple as that, as a meditation of dropping baggage. But I am so excited for you, Paul One. It seems like we are really letting go within this transition, letting go of the past, and we are alchemizing things into something that's really beautiful. It could be a beautiful relationship that's coming for you. It could be beautiful creative works of art that you are making, and it could be something that is going to be so freeing for you. I think that that's the big thing for you, Paul One, is that this next era is going to be extremely freeing. So keep your focus, keep your mind on that. Thank you everybody so much for tuning into this video, into this reading. If it resonated with you, please leave a like and a comment. If you want a personal reading done by me, you can check out the link in the description, as well as the courses that I offer. There is a course that I offer on tarot and Kabbalah and the relationship between the two. So if that's interesting to you, make sure to check that out. Thank you all so much for watching. Until next time. Hey everybody that chose pile number 2, welcome to your reading. This is what you need to hear at this moment as it pertains to the big changes that are coming into your life. The card that you chose is Venus in Capricorn, and it has the name Convention. The thing with these cards, it can represent that you may have Venus in Capricorn, but in general, this is about the energy that's coming into your life. This is about the big change that is taking place. So this doesn't necessarily mean that you do have Venus in Capricorn, or that Venus will be in Capricorn when this change takes place. That is not exactly relevant. It can be a nice synchronicity if you do have Venus in Capricorn, but convention, the idea of this energy, is what is surrounding you at this moment. So I'm going to go ahead and read from the book on this card before I go ahead and pull some tarot cards. So let's see what this says about Venus in Capricorn. Personal Venus in the common sense sign of Capricorn describes someone who needs a romantic partner to share and help them achieve ambitions. Disliking public displays of emotion, this planet sign type is fairly conservative in behavior. Although this sounds dull, the Capricornian zany sense of humor prevails, keeping any relationship lively and entertaining. Often, the Venus in Capricorn card indicates a fair age difference in a major relationship. People with this aspect are loyal and steadfast, but financial security is very important to their emotional happiness. Love on an overdraft is not conducive to a Capricornian's well being, and relationships can suffer if the partner is recklessly extravagant or foolish with money. This is always, with this sign, a strong social and artistic ambition. Venus Capricornians like to know and be known by the talent and success. Know by the talent and successful. Okay. Their involvement in the arts world could be based on their own talents or be concerned with exploiting the creative abilities of others. The Venus Capricorn love of artistic things usually leans towards the more conventional, expressing itself in classical music and traditional arts. The Venus Capricorn type has good feelings for business, dealings with the opposite sex, and harmony in this area is important to their life ambitions. When this card is chosen, it often indicates a romantic liaison between someone much older or younger. So, here are some events that are associated with this card. It says a marriage or affair with a great age difference, a relationship with a famous or important person, or a new friend of some influence. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean, because that'll probably be for a select few of people when it comes to this. Now, pile one also had this energy regarding relationships and the romantic life. That's the thing with Venus. Venus does rule relationships and love and romance. But this doesn't necessarily mean what we're doing is we're bringing sensuality back into the situation when we're talking about Venus. When we're talking about things that are more on the lines of commitment and marriage and something really long term, a true commitment to somebody, we're talking more about the Saturnian energies. So here we are talking about sensuality, and this goes far beyond relationships and romance. This sensuality and feeling of connection and that excitement and passion that we can feel can go into that realm of friendships. It can go into the realm of creativity and art and beauty, music. All of these things are what we could be talking about. Now, Capricorn has a lot to do with work. Capricorns like to work very hard. And if we're talking as well about like the 10th house, this rules career. And we could be talking about this general direction that we're moving in life as it pertains to the career. And if we have this Venus energy here within that 10th house, this can really represent career that is centering on things like creativity, music, art, and then also, of course, sensuality and romance, or romance as it is involved within career. It does mention something about fame, a relationship with a famous or important person. So this can definitely represent, when it comes to having romance, having this very practical side to it, as it might pertain to social status, or it might pertain to money and finances, and making sure that these things are in alignment with the person that you are sharing your, not necessarily sharing your entire life with, but you're sharing your energy with them. So I'm going to go ahead and start pulling some more cards, some tarot cards, to get more clarification on this for you guys. All right, so what do we have for pile number 2? Okay, so this makes a lot of sense. So I have pulled the Two of Pentacles, and I really can definitely see this as this is talking about balance. The thing about the Two of Pentacles, and we have this infinity sign, which of course represents the unmanifested, and it also represents the eternal nature of everything and the source. And it also represents the ups and the downs. So things will not always be down, things will not always be up. We are balancing these things as well as balancing like work and home life, or maybe balancing two forms of income. Again, very much centered around the career, being practical. So I think for you guys, for pile number two, the big changes that are coming up for you might have a lot to do with balancing your love life and your work life. And if it's not necessarily like your love life doesn't seem like an issue for you, maybe coming up, you will start to see that you need to take these things into balance. Or maybe it represents friendship, social life, and maybe it represents creativity. Like if you have a day job and then you have this other thing that you do that is more creative, that being able to balance these two things could be what's coming up for you. So let's go ahead and pull the next card. Let's see what we've got for you, pile two. We have the Nine of Wands. The Nine of Wands is daring to do something different, to go against what society has been telling you to do or what your family's been telling you to do. So it could very well be a creative calling. And people might have been telling you, no, don't do that, or you can't make money in this area, or something like that. And you're like, no, I'm pretty sure that this is what I want to do. I might not have everything figured out, but I have the knowledge and I have the things, the skills that are backing me. Or these are things that I'm learning at the moment. So if that's the case, I'm not saying to necessarily take the leap and get out of your day job, corporate life, or whatever that might look like for you. But I am saying to take steps in the direction towards your calling, especially when it has to do with your career. This is very, very important. It's very important for your well-being, because if we were to stay our entire lives stuck in something that is not really nourishing our soul, we're not growing, we're not doing anything different. So you really need to take steps in the direction that is your calling, to give yourself a sense of satisfaction and a sense of purpose and meaning in life. That is extremely important. And you want to be able to have this feeling like you're doing something that either helps other people, it's helping the self. That is extremely important, because what you're doing, this calling that you feel, it has a purpose and a reason for being there. If you don't follow it, think about all of the things that could be missing. So, for example, if your calling is to be a therapist, think about all of the people that you could possibly help and relate to, and the specific energy that you can bring to the table by being a therapist. Think about what would happen if you were not to go down that road and that calling for yourself. If you were to not do that, think about all of the people who could be missing your energy, who really needed your energy. You have this desire and calling towards a certain direction for a specific reason. So I think that this Nine of Wands can indicate action. It might not mean that we're completely there, we have all the answers, we have everything figured out, but it does mean that we need to start moving in that direction, and to take a bigger leap, because, you know, that's the thing, is because we're scared. That's the thing with the Nine of Wands, is that we are scared and we need to take some sort of action. So we do have that there, which is exciting. We also have the Emperor, which again could be representing action. The Emperor does represent stability. And this is also a big deal energy. It represents stability and expansion. Expansion, because if we were to look at this card, like overlaid on the Kabbalistic tree of life, we've been clearing out a space. We are overcoming something, clearing out a space, and then now that we are the ruler and we have this higher view of everything, we can now start to dictate and create order, which is going to lead to expansion. So this is your message that you are becoming more and more and more like the creator of your reality. And this is we are moving into the area of your life where you are creating a lot of order, you are creating a lot of structure. And by doing this, you are setting up the foundation that is going to lead to a lot of expansion. So, again, related to career, related to leadership, and related to knowing that the things that you say and the things that you are doing are affecting the people around you. So, it's important to be wise on what exactly that is and what you are doing. So, again, following your calling, following yourself into a position of leadership is probably going to be a big thing for you, Paul, too. So I have a couple oracle cards that I'm going to pull. So let's see what we've got for you. This is going to be the Tree of Life oracle deck. If learning about tarot and its relationship with Kabbalah is interesting to you, I highly recommend these cards. This card flew out. It was, wow, the 24th path, which is death. And it says on here, grief, rebirth, and transformation. Yeah, so death doesn't mean literal death. What it represents is really letting go of the past. So pile 1, if pile 1 resonated with you, like you felt a calling towards pile 1, maybe check that video out too, because we talked about a transition period in some way. But for you, this might be a much bigger, more dramatic transformation. So over this maybe next 3 months or so, you are going to be radically transforming your life, and it might not, the transformation might not come about so quickly. It might be more like these big, wow, important realizations for yourself where you are finally just letting go of the past, and the process might happen naturally. It might not be as painful. Of course, we do have grief with death, but the whole idea of death is the no more pain aspect. So we are really letting go and coming to terms with things, coming to a place of acceptance. Surrender is probably going to be your biggest thing. Just letting go of the past, and it is accepting this transition and looking forward at the sun that's rising on the horizon, and really keeping your eyes forward. Keeping yourself present and here and now, but at the same time, knowing that there are better things that are coming for yourself. There are bigger things. You have a bigger purpose that this moment is going to give you the space and the openness to be able to really reflect and be able to handle the changes that are coming, because they're going to be for your good and they are exciting. This is an exciting time. So I have one last card that I'm going to pull for you, Paul, too. These are affirmation cards. So let's see what we've got to end this reading out. Okay, we have allow. Now it says you're being asked to open your energy field and take down your walls of protection in order to allow goodness into your life. Sometimes, without even realizing it, we block ourselves from the flow of life. It's safe to open yourself back up. That is a big thing, to really allow the process to happen. And again, I said surrender. So this is very similar to that energy of surrender, just allowing the process to take place. Thank you all so much for tuning into this reading, to this video. If you liked it and it resonated with you, please leave a thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe for more content. If you want a personal reading done by me, you can check out the link in the description below. And I also have courses. So I have a specific course that is studying tarot with the Kabbalistic Tree of Life. So if that's something that's interesting to you, please make sure to check out the link in the description below. Thank you all so much for watching. Until next time. Hey everybody that chose pile number 3, welcome to your reading. This is what you need to hear right now as it pertains to the big changes that are coming into your life. I'm really excited about this card because this card is beautiful. It says concentration. This is number 3, referencing the 3rd house. This is Saturn in Gemini. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the book and we're going to go over the description of this card. Now, this can mean that you have Saturn in Gemini. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have Saturn in Gemini. This is really pertaining to the energies that Saturn in Gemini represents. And this is going to be the theme of the big changes that are coming into your life. So, getting into the book, let's see what this says. People with Saturn in Gemini show a capacity for good, disciplined thinking and reasoning. With Saturn, the desire to achieve foremost, and the Gemini talents combine to find quick and appropriate answers. The need to appear to be right The need to appear to be the right person in every ambitious situation can sometimes lead to bluff and name dropping. Practical and systematic Saturn Gemini people are persistent in solving tricky problems. When it comes to looking after their own matters, clarity in contracts and agreements are of importance to Saturn Geminians, for they need to know precisely where they stand. They often have a talent for mathematics and science and the painstaking attitude that goes with this kind of activity. Most of the information they require is geared to their career and ambition. Technical books and biographies of the famous are likely to be more important on their shelves than fiction. Negatively, people with this planet sign combination, although basically resourceful and flexible, tend to be over suspicious, hypercritical, and twitchy. In a reading, this card suggests a situation full of distractions and unnecessary complications only by keeping conscientiously to the essence of the matter will the questioner arrive at a successful conclusion. Because Gemini rules the third house, this card can indicate strain in the questioner's relationship with siblings. Interesting. So, when it pertains to events this card is associated with, these are some of the events that it says. Talking one's way into an important job. Using much concentrated research to achieve something, long conscientious study. Ignoring someone's deliberate distractions. Very, very interesting. So, it looks like this next phase of your life is going to be centered on, of course, concentration. And there's a couple things when I read this that really stood out to me. Like, for example, somebody's distractions. We could be talking about distractions coming in. It can have to do with somebody else. It does say someone else's distraction, someone's deliberate distraction. So maybe it's something that they're doing on purpose. Maybe not necessarily that they're trying to slow you down, but it could be that they're trying to get your attention. It could be just a way of diverting your attention. What is needed right now is intense focus. Focus on your goals and focus on the systems that are in place. Saturn is all about discipline. It's representing discipline, and it also has ties to karma, death, and rebirth. As we could get into the whole idea of Saturn and Cronus and all of that, and time. So this is about something that you are working on is taking time to come into fruition, which everything that we do does, and Saturn is an aspect of all of us, all of our consciousnesses. But for you, this is something that's really important for you coming up, is the focus on the goals, the focus on the systems in place to help get you to these goals. And that's going to require a lot of dedicated effort and study. So this is what's coming into your life, is the idea really of study. It says something in here about books, which I found really interesting too. Where did it say that? Technical books and biographies of the famous are likely to be more important on their shelves than fiction. And I think that doing something, it could be like taking a course, taking a class or something like that, but it doesn't necessarily have to mean that, but it can mean you are taking in a lot of information and data that is helping you to be able to stick to your systems. Discipline is definitely a big key here. Gemini also rules over communication. So I think that this has to do probably, and the third house can have to do with siblings too. So it could be like a sibling trying to distract you, but that's probably just for a very few people who can relate to that. But most likely it's going to have to do with communication. Maybe it has something to do with networking, but being able to stay consistent and disciplined in that area to get to where you want to go. And that could be career wise, that could be knowledge wise. Maybe your goal is based around knowledge and getting to a better understanding of something, which are also Saturnian aspects to commitment. This definitely could have to do with a love relationship, but more in the sense of commitment. I've said before that Saturn rules over commitment and marriage versus just romance and sensuality and stuff like that. So it could definitely be centered around marriage too. So I'm going to pull some tarot cards to get a deeper clarification on this. So let's see what we've got for you, pile number 3. Ah, we have pulled the Wheel of Fortune. Definitely a big deal energy, and the Wheel of Fortune it generally represents good fortune. But it can also represent, too, that we create the reality that we're in. There's a lot of emphasis on the card on the 4 elements inside the wheel and outside the wheel. Representing what is going on internally is having an effect externally and vice versa. So this is getting the self right, getting the structure right, getting the stable foundation that you need, and then seeing it reflected in the external reality. So really, really focusing on your structure and on your discipline is going to be a big part of the big changes that are coming up for you. It can also represent, maybe it's like a life event, and it's not negative. It's just a life event is happening. There is a big change. The Wheel of Fortune does represent change. And because of this change that's coming in, whether this is success, maybe you actually hit it big somehow. That could actually be what this is representing with the Wheel of Fortune, because we're talking about the Jupiter energies and expansion and fortune, of course, and a big change, something maybe mysteriously just working out in your favor. But then we're also talking about the Saturn energies, which is revolving around discipline, and also success. Saturn does have to do with success in a lot of ways too. It teaches us lessons as well. It could even be representing success, teaching us a lesson. So I think that for you, the big change that might be coming into your life is centered around success, and it might even be centered around, and not everybody's going to 100% relate to this because not everybody's just going to get famous or anything like that, but it can represent an increase in popularity, meaning that maybe you do somehow just get famous, but probably for a very few select people who are watching this. But it can represent this increase in popularity. Maybe people are reading what it is that you write. Maybe people are taking a look at the stuff that you create. Maybe you get a promotion and you are stepping into a place of leadership at work. Your money and your financial resources are increasing. Things are improving in a dramatic way. But we have to be able to withstand this and to be able to keep going. And that's still going to require what got us here in the first place. So yes, celebrate and enjoy the success and the things that you're finding yourself in. But also keep in mind that you still have to keep up your daily habits, your daily structure, your routine to keep yourself where you are. And this is where it's almost like we're being tested, and we're learning a really big lesson here when that happens, because you will have people around you who try to distract you. And again, that might not be that they're trying to mess you up, but they might want your attention, or they might not like that you're working all the time. They might not like the things that you're doing. And that's okay. But this might be a call to have that type of conversation with people, that you have to keep growing and learning intellectually, and you have to keep your momentum up. That's a very big important lesson when it comes to something like success, because we can get successful and get really excited, and then we can kind of blow it. We can kind of blow it because we want to enjoy it, and that makes sense. Now I'm going to go ahead and pull a couple more of these tarot cards. Let's see what we've got for you, pile number 3. Yep, so I've pulled the Knight of Wands. And with these court cards, they can sometimes represent people within our lives, like specific people. I think that it's possible. I like to look at the more esoteric meanings of these cards, meaning that the Knight of Wands represents action, taking action in the place that we are really passionate about and where we feel like our life purpose might be related to spirituality and desire and excitement and all of that, adventure. But I don't want to neglect the fact that it can represent a person too. So with the Knight of Wands, I wonder if it does represent this person in your life who is distracting you because they have a lot of energy and they're really excited and they want to express it and share it with you. Maybe it could be that. I mean, of course, we have the more malicious sides because the Knight of Wands can represent like aggression or even passive aggression. Not all the time, but I have seen that come up before within readings and it has been accurate. So I do want to say that just in case that it does have something to do with that. That maybe the person is trying to distract you deliberately. But I feel like within this reading, this Knight of Wands is coming up to represent this person or that energy in particular that is a distraction. So this is coming up in the place of desire and excitement and passion, possibly lust and things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and pull another card. Awesome. Yeah, we have the Nine of Pentacles, which is definitely centering around monetary abundance, for sure. This is luxury. This is increased abundance. Money is flowing in. This is us being very grateful for our surroundings and the things that we are manifesting into our lives. It is related to Venus. It is related to the sensuality and the beauty, the beauty that we can see around us. And I think that that's important for you to meditate on. So really be fruitful and enjoy the fruits of your labor. Enjoy the success that you find yourself in. Enjoy the present moment and enjoy the work that gets you there, because without that enjoyment, why are we doing what it is that we're doing? Is it just for money? Like, are you trying to get into a position of leadership just because you want power and money? Or do you actually believe there's something that you can contribute to the people that you're leading? Do you feel like you have a strong connection to this team, or do you have a strong connection to other people around you that has to do with your line of work? So do you enjoy it? That's the big thing that you want to ask yourself. If yes, then absolutely you're moving in the right direction. If not, and of course means that there's some things that we want to adjust to make sure that we enjoy the success that we are cultivating around ourselves. We might need to make some changes and shifts, and of course, related to Saturn, these are lessons. All right, so I am going to pull a couple of these oracle cards. So the Tree of Life Oracle, let's see what we've got for you. These are fantastic cards when it has to do with the tarot with the Kabbalistic Tree of Life. So very funny that I have pulled Sphere 3 on the Tree of Life, which is Bana and means understanding, and hey, that's Saturn energy. So really big synchronicities here in this reading. So with Saturn, we're talking about, well, this is what it says on the card, but it goes deeper than this, and we'll talk about it for a second. But the card says silence, awareness, and the divine feminine. So Bana and Saturn, yes, Saturn is seemingly like a masculine planet, but when we relate it to the Tree of Life, we're talking about the great mother of creation, understanding as the great mother of creation. This is the first sphere of form. So if we're talking about the process of creation, it's taking wisdom and internalizing it, creating structure within consciousness, so that way we can carry out the process. So yes, it's related to creating structure. It's related to success. It is related to, again, the divine feminine, holding space and growing something within that space. And it is also, like it says, silence. So being able to be very present and aware as you are going through the process, but then everything that Saturn has to do with, like discipline, karma, time. So this is where we get into the realm of opposites, in the sense that you have time, and then you have awareness and presence. With presence, there is no time. That doesn't exist. There's no future, there's no past. We are here and now enjoying the presence of this moment. Even if it's difficult, even if it's challenging, we're still enjoying the presence of the moment. But we also have the other aspect, which is, you could say, is the illusion of time. So within form, we have this illusion of time, and things do take time to develop. So we have the ability to see into the future, to make plans into the future, to focus on these things, but yet be in the present moment. That's actually a very hard thing to do, to experience both of those at the same time. And trust me, I know it's very difficult, but you are really advanced. You guys, Pal 3, are very advanced, and you are developing these deeper understandings and wisdom, I think, within life. And it is serving you very well, and you're doing something with it. So definitely be proud of the success and proud of where you are, and definitely keep up the momentum to keep going. So I'm going to pull one last card. And these are affirmations. So let's see what affirmation we have for you, Pal 3. Again, related to Gemini, we have connect. It says you're being asked to connect with others in meaningful ways. Sometimes it's helpful to get new perspectives and to simply be around other people. You're in need of this right now, and deep connections will benefit you in many ways. Awesome. So I hope that this reading has resonated with you. If it did, please leave a comment, like the video, subscribe for more content. Also, if you want a personal reading done by me, you can check out the link in the description below. And I also offer courses like the course on Tarot with Kabbalah. So if that's something that's interesting to you, please check out the link in the description below. Thank you all so much for watching and tuning into this video. Until next time.